Hello, everybody. I am just titling this live and putting some links in the comments, and we're going to start in just a moment as soon as I get this finished so that you can join us in the Zoom room if you want. So I've just added the link to this Zoom room, which we would love to have you hop in with us, and let's get started. So hi, I am Beth Create. I'm a licensed professional counselor and an intuitive clarity coach, and I'm so happy that you've joined us for our live coaching call today with KJ, who has agreed to be with us again this week. And we're going to pick up on a topic that we touched on last week, which is being a chameleon, right? And I think we all go through phases like this where we shift and change all kinds of things about us in order to fit in to any said group, situation, circumstance. So I, for example, used to definitely be a chameleon when I would go to my daughter's school events or went to parent meetings or anything surrounding school to fit in with the other moms. I admit it right here. I would have clothes that I would only wear for that because they really weren't me, but it was them. And so I would wear it to fit in. I would have lunches with these women at places I would not normally, be in my list of places to go or hang out. But I felt at that time I wasn't fully embodying my authenticity yet. I didn't love myself enough to feel comfortable presenting the real me to everybody. So I played the chameleon more times than I care to admit now, but it's been a long time since I've played a chameleon, and the freedom in letting that go is like indescribable. It's so fabulous. So last week, KJ discussed how she actually brought it up, right, KJ?
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I just feel like a chameleon, and you just kind of like, what do you mean? It's like, yeah, I just seem to change to fit in to whatever group I'm in or whatever person I'm with. Seems like I change to be who I think they want me to be, to fit in or to be liked. And therefore, when it comes to knowing who I am, I don't, because I've changed so many times into so many different things. I don't. I mean, does a chameleon know its true colors? Because it changes so much.
Well, it's not the chameleon that has to know.
Well, I mean, as a metaphor, I feel like I don't know who I truly am because I've changed my color so much to fit in. That it's like, I don't know who I am. I don't know what I like to do. I don't know if I, really like to go to baseball games or go bowling or go to the movies. Like, do I really like to do those things, or?
Do you, hold on one second. Okay. Do you have this live playing in the background right now?
No.
I want to make sure that it is playing. If anybody's out there that can just say hi so that I know that this is actually going out live. Oh, there we go. Because I'll say hi so that I know that this, okay, perfect. I needed to turn down that sound because it was echoing back at me. So, right. So you're in a place where you've been playing the chameleon for so long, you're unsure of who the authentic you is.
Yeah. And, that's the whole point of our program but it's so hard for me. It seems like it's extra hard because I just don't have a clue
Mhm.
anymore,
Mhm.
because it's been so, so long. I think I've always played that role. I mean, even when I was little, from being adopted, I, tried to be the child like my sister or like my brother. So I knew my parents would love me
Mhm.
because my other parents just gave me away. I mean, that's how I felt when I was little. And so I think I have always played that role.
Mm.
55 years of playing that role. It's like, how do I even begin to know who I am?
Mhm. I'm thinking about things that you've told me in the past coaching sessions also, that one of your biggest hurdles is that you feel invisible all the time, right?
Absolutely.
And there's a definite connection here because if you're always playing a role, what is there to be seen? Right?
Yeah.
The real you is never going to feel seen because the real you isn't being shown.
And I feel like I'll never know who the real me is. I mean,
But I believe you're on the path already. And so part of this for you is going to be allowing yourself to acknowledge as you take this journey ownership in what you discover while you explore. So for example, you've already done the beginnings of the first step, which is your personal inventory.
right.
Okay. And so you've started creating the list of qualities that are you on a soul level, that are who you are, not what you do. Right?
Yes.
Okay. But have you owned them? Have you internalized them and said, okay, now I do know this about me. This much I do know is the real me.
Some of them. I mean, a majority of them,
Okay.
but there's some that, I still trying to.
Sure, it's a process,
It is.
right? It's
It
a
is.
process, definitely. But we're on this journey together of you finding these things out. So, I've told you this before, for me, language is such a huge thing that I want to challenge you to stop using language that says, and I still don't know anything about myself, because you do,
Right.
right? There are
Yeah.
things that you do know. And the list of what you do know is going to grow and grow. Okay. So far, we've been working on the personal inventory. We haven't yet gotten to the what you do, right? We're only talking about who you are so far.
Right.
And I think what you're talking about starts traveling into the what you do category, like what you like, for example. And you said baseball. I don't even know if I like baseball, right?
Yeah.
So how do you find out if you like baseball?
Guess I'm gonna have to go to a baseball game.
Yeah. Are you watch a game on TV? Yeah. That's how you find out what you like. I mean, as we grow up, that's how we learn what we like. As we try a new food, that's how we learn what we like, right?
I feel like a baby, like I'm learning who
In
I
a way
am.
you are. In a way you are, because what you just shared, and thank you so much for being willing to be that honest. What you just shared is that you don't feel ever in your whole life that you presented like the naked, this is who KJ is. Because you've from day one conformed to a situation really for your, what I'm sure as a child seemed like your mere survival.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
So, right. So number one, and we're not really talking about chameleon stuff at this moment, but I think in order for you to let go of the chameleon, there are some like basic tenets for you to adopt. And the first one is self-compassion. Self-compassion for being where you are now. Because, you know, I've definitely gotten the feeling from you that it is upsetting, to put it mildly.
Yeah.
Right? That you're here and just now starting this journey to find and fully embody your authentic self. Yeah. So with that comes some, I'm sure, blame, guilt, anger, all kinds of negative juju that you're putting on yourself.
Yeah. To say the least.
Yeah. So by practicing self-compassion, you know, you get to let all that go. You got to where you are right now for real reasons, right? And, you know, we'll definitely work through those with coaching and with some therapy in there too. But there are valid reasons for how you came this far as a chameleon. Okay. And we don't need to go through those now in public, but the point is for you to be aware and acknowledge that those reasons have been valid all along, and being upset with yourself for allowing it to go on serves nobody. I mean, it doesn't serve you at all, and it doesn't help you move out of it. Okay. So we'll work on that in some more detail in a little bit more private of a forum. Okay. But if you're beating yourself up for being where you are, you can't get out of where you are. You can't move on.
Right.
Okay. So we'll continue your journey of learning about yourself, of continuing to grow your personal inventory of who you are, and continuing to internalize those things. Like, I mean, can you give me one that you have internalized already?
That I'm passionate.
Okay. And that one says so much, right? So you've internalized, you own the fact that you're passionate.
Very.
You identify as that, right? So that very trait is going to really like be such a strength for you when you're looking for what you like, what you enjoy doing, what brings you joy, what you know, sparks your creativity, what gets your, you know, juices going. Okay. That passion is going to really help you identify those things. Now, I'm fairly certain that some things that you're already doing will go on that list. Like who you are today, right now, as the chameleon, parts of that chameleon are on your list of who you truly are, what your authentic self loves to do, what
Yeah.
your authentic self, right, is drawn to, or what your authentic self will no longer abide in her life. Okay.
Right. Okay.
Okay. Your pivot point for you, though, is like noticing it and then owning it, grabbing it and saying, yes, here's another piece of who I am authentically, instead of like just writing it down in your notebook and moving on.
Right.
Okay. I think right now that's a little bit of the disconnect, is from putting it on a list and then moving on, instead of being like, oh yeah, I do love this. I do love the crafting that I do. I'm passionate about this. It does bring me joy for these reasons. So I know that this is a part of the authentic me. That's another thing I now know, have certainty, is part of the authentic me.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. So like, what's tangential to your crafting that we can look at next, or that you can look at next and say, giving your crafts, being a giving person, a person of generous spirit.
Why I can't own a business, because I give everything away.
Okay. So there's another, part of your authentic self that you now have certainty about. Okay.
Okay.
So as these lists grow, and you can't help but to be more comfortable in your body, be more comfortable in your life, and have more confidence, because now you're filling your vessel, for lack of a better word, your mind, your body, you're filling your vessel with things you know to be true about your authentic self. And that's powerful, right? Then we start talking about your inner powers that you have, your power of communication, your power of intuition, your power of, there's so many that, of course, like there's 15 of them I cover in the program. And of course, right now is when I'm drawing a blank on them. But we start strengthening those powers that you've had all along, but maybe you haven't been using them. You haven't been recognizing them, that you're there. The power of speaking your truth. The power of setting your own expectations and not living by anybody else's. And as you go through each step of this, it's only adding to the personal inventory, right? And you learn more about yourself with every single step of this. And the more you do that, the more you're comfortable going into a situation as you, because you don't need the chameleon anymore. You don't need to morph.
Right.
Right. And the reason you don't need to morph is because now you know who you are with enough certainty that you start liking who you are.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine like how that would feel, how that's going to feel when you say, I know who I am and I like that person. That person.
No, I can't.
Well, you're going to know what that feels like. I like the qualities of who I am. I like all of the things I'm passionate about. I'm proud of what I bring to the table. And I like and know myself and like what I know so much that I'm not changing to fit in here or fit in there. If I do, great. And if I don't, I'm just going to go and find the place I do.
Yeah. That would be wonderful.
And you're going to get there. because you're further along on the way than you're giving yourself credit for yet. Can you see that?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's things you've said that I hadn't thought of, I didn't realize. And, there are a lot of them, a lot more than what I thought and there's more that, can be put down on my list.
Mm-hmm. I'm writing myself a note real quick. So I have a question. I have a suggestion for you. You know how you have all these lists going right now, because that's a big part of my coaching is I have my coachees create lists of, right now you're working on your list of qualities. And I think you have another list right now of qualities that you feel need to be worked on, right? And do you have another list going right now?
What's different for me having my cheat sheet as a mirror?
Okay.
Haven't started that one yet, though, with everything that's been going on the last week.
Sure. And I know you don't feel good today, so extra gratitude for being present here right now.
Yeah, they say it's bronchitis and a sinus infection.
Oh, well, I'm glad it's not COVID.
Me too.
Yeah, I had that last week. So I can promise you'll come out of it soon. So of course not if it's like 29 one day and 73 2 days later, like it's about to be here.
It's snowing here.
I know it snowed, but it's going to be 73 on Sunday. I mean, on Thursday.
Oh,
yeah. Okay. I have another list for you. All right. And I want this one to be things I know to be true. Okay, like that you have internalized, you feel them.
Okay.
Okay. So the things that are on that list are going to come from all your other lists.
Right.
Okay. But like, for example, you really lit up when I mentioned your passion for crafting. Right.
Yeah.
So that one can go on the I know to be true list. Okay. So I think for us working together, this is going to be an important piece that can't be skipped, because that's the piece that's going to take you from just writing things down and moving on to internalizing them, so that you won't ever think again, I don't know anything about myself.
Okay.
Okay. And the things that you've come up with, but you haven't internalized yet, we're going to know that we need to spend more time on helping you internalize them. Like, you've already written them down. You didn't, they came from somewhere within you.
Right.
So somewhere you do know that it's true, but you haven't internalized it yet, so that you can like claim it and wear it, right? Proclaim, this is who I am. Okay. So that is how you get to a place where not only can you stop being a chameleon, but you are literally no longer willing to be a chameleon.
That's where I want to be.
Mm-hmm. Even when you're going into situations that before you would have felt insecure, and you get to a place where you're like, they can love me or leave me. I'm okay with either. I'm just going in as myself because that's where I'm the most comfortable. We're not even comfortable as chameleons, right? I mean, when you become a chameleon to go into a situation, are you any more secure? Get off.
No.
So I'm not saying you're going to be like, let's go, I've got this in every situation that had you feeling insecure before. You know, you may still have some nerves about going in somewhere, but you're not
Right.
willing to change who you are to let go of the nerves. And
Correct.
the fact is, you realize that, well, when I went in after having like morphed myself into somebody else for them, I was still nervous.
Right. Probably even
Right.
more so
Right, exactly.
because I was trying to be something I wasn't.
Exactly. And that just sucks. And that like, if we don't have a lot of confidence and security in who we are, every single time we pretend to be somebody else, it just pushes our confidence even lower. It pushes our self-esteem even lower. So it's like just adding insult to injury. You know, it's self-harm in a real way.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So did I answer your question in a super long roundabout way?
Yeah. Yeah. 1 second. I got a cough.
I just bought another bag of Ludens yesterday.
I need to get some.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely you did. And you made me realize a lot that, I hadn't thought about.
Great. Do you have any questions right now? And if anybody's out there live, throw a question in the comment. And if you're watching this on a replay, throw a question in the DMs, in my DM or comments, and I will absolutely respond directly to you.
I don't think I have any questions now.
Okay.
I mean, you gave me a lot to think about and a lot to work on.
Okay, great. I'm so glad. And if something comes out of this session that you want us to talk about next week, just jot it down. And
Okay.
for those of you watching, if you have a topic that you'd like me to discuss next week or a future week, hit me up on the DMs and let me know. And I'd love to have you come on live and I can work it through with you live. If that's not your jam, no worries. I'll still respond to you one-on-one and we'll work through whatever you've got. What else? I'm going to put a link here for you to book a free call with me. If there's anything specific that you are dealing with that you would like to start, getting some coaching on, book your free call and let's get you moving forward. It's going to be a new year and we talked about body positivity last week. I'm just going to throw it out there again. I beg all of you to stay away from all of the diet industries, $billion of advertising pressure that's going to tell you you're not good enough as you are. And instead of falling into that trap of, oh, to make me better, I have to make my body better, just focus on who you are as a human being. And if there's any work you want to do on who you are as a human being, let's get on it so your 2022 can be the best year so far. Okay, so I look forward to speaking with you. I look forward to seeing you in my DMs, in the comments, or on my calendar. Thanks for being here with us today. KJ, again, extra thank you for being here when you don't feel well. I'm really grateful.
I'm glad to be here.
I'm really grateful. Okay, thank you. Thank you, everybody. We'll be back next Tuesday at 4 o'clock. Take care.
Bye.